Hey, Jessica. Thanks for inviting me to the rally.
Thanks for showing up.
We need more teachers and parents and adults to support our movement.
Well, I'm here. I need you to give me some information, though. I want to be able to explain to people what the police-free schools movement is all about.
Well, for one, adults should listen to more of the things students are saying. A bunch of us have testified at city council hearings, we've done banner drops at the DOE, we've marched.
I get it. I think some of us don't realize that school police perpetuate racism and the school to prison pipeline. Some people don't even know that SSAs are NYPD staff.
Exactly. You got it. I learned that the first police officer in this country were slave patrols. Their jobs used to be catching black people who were trying to get freedom and send them back to slavery.
The history of policing in New York City and across the U.S. is rooted in suppression of unions and labor organizing. The first police in New York were mostly hired to stop workers from striking. During the Great Migration, when black people were coming to New York City to escape Jim Crow laws, NYPD brutality increased in black communities. In the 1960s, when black families started trying to hold schools accountable for mistreating students, that was the first time New York put hundreds of cops in NYC schools. Police presence has funneled students of color into the school to prison pipeline, often for everyday things.
I remember one time, two of my friends were running down the hall, rushing to our after school program room, and a teacher spotted them and called the school police right away. While we were trying to explain to the teacher, the school police officer just pulled my friend away. We could have had a conversation. It didn't have to be that serious at all.
There is so much money being dumped into the school policing in New York City. Almost $500 million a year. Imagine what would happen if that money actually went to creating safety.
I feel like it's hard for adults to imagine anything other than black and brown students getting handcuffed, getting citations, and even being scanned with metal detectors. There's no imagination. That's why I want police-free schools, so we can start to really focus on the new ways to make us safe.
What if every school had trusted adults greeting people at the front door instead of cops? I bet it would set a right vibe in schools.
What if every school had a lot of new kind of staff, mentors, and counselors, people who look like us and come from our communities, and students could just go to them and talk to them anytime they needed it? I bet students will feel safer. I definitely would.
That would be amazing. The $500 million per year that goes to school cops could go to every school. Think about permanently small class sizes, all the new kinds of school jobs we could hire for, permanent art classes, sculpting, music production, archery, swimming, you name it.
I wonder if we could really build up restorative justice programs, but not just someone who comes in every few times a week, but a whole team of dozens of restorative justice people in every grade who teaches us how to support each other and who help teachers communicate with us instead of just punishing us with detention or suspension for everything.
A lot of adults don't really know what restorative justice means. They think it isn't enough to keep schools safe from fights or violence. I've seen teachers sometimes rush to call on school police in a moment of conflict because they don't have the proper training on interventions or the proper support staff they need.
Yeah, well, that's because the city has never taken a chance to see what restorative justice can really do.
Supporting all schools with the time and money needed for real restorative justice to happen would include training for staff and students, community building, bringing families into the process, and every member of every school community agreeing on what safety really means and how they can achieve and sustain it.
And you know who gets hurt the most when restorative justice is underfunded and not taken seriously.
Black and brown students.
I read that 100% of the girls who were handcuffed in school last year were girls of color.
100%? So that means every single girl handcuffed in school was a girl of color?
Yeah. Cops in schools are a setup. They're just waiting to put young people in the system when what we really need is space and support. Why can't NYC put all the efforts into making us feel safe and cared for and get the support we need if we need help?
It's possible.
It is possible. I believe that we will win.